Okay, we'll declare the meeting open at 4 o'clock and welcome everyone here today. The Shire of Harvey acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all members of the Aboriginal communities and their cultures, and to elders both past and present. Can I also welcome today Andre Morris, who's Community Development Project Officer. Welcome. And also acknowledge Vicky Small's last meeting here at the Shire. And a special mention to Patrick, who had a 21st last Friday, or nearly Patrick, so happy birthday for last Friday. Item 2, record of apologies and leave of absence. We have Councillor Cavoni. Anyone others? Item 3, applications for leave of absence. Nil. Item 4, reading from a book of learning and wisdom. Councillor Jackson.
I read a quote from Mother Teresa. Kindness, the poverty of the West is loneliness and indifference. There is hunger for ordinary bread, and there is hunger for love and for kindness and for thoughtfulness. And this is the great poverty that makes people suffer so much.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Item 5, declarations of members and officers' personal interest. Councillor Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Account numbers 82102 and 83301. I'm the council delegate on the Harvey Senior Citizens Centre. All of these will be in partiality interests, and I'll stay in council and vote on their merits. Account 105147, I'm the council rep on the Disability Access and Inclusion Advisory Group. Account 114302, I'm president of the Harvey Bowling Club. Account 132102, I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Harvey. Thank you.
Councillor Jackson.
I have impartiality interests in item 132145 in the budget, and that is for, sorry, I'm not reading it. I don't know what that says. 134. There's not the item listed on that. Sorry, 145 is the regional tourism strategy. Goodness me. Can I start again? Item 70525 is Parent Naturals Partnership. I'm Shire delegate, and that is impartiality interest, and I'll stay in the chamber. 70186 is Harvey Art Gallery. I am a member of the leasee of that building, Harvey Art Society. 116302 Harvey Art Prize. I'm a member of the Harvey Art Society who manages that event, and they are impartiality interests. I have financial interest as I have a registered tourism business in the Shire of Harvey and a member of Harvey Visitor Centre. 132102 to 104. 132132 the Australian Visitor Centre. 132145 the Regional Tourism Strategy, and 132146 the Shire Tourism Strategy. So those items on page 171, I will step out of chambers and not vote on those.
Councillor Burgoyne.
Item 12.4.3, which is the adoption of the budget. Impartiality on accounts 83309, 83310 and 8311, I believe is the new number for the Brunswick River Cottages account. I'm a member of the committee for Brunswick River Cottages, and account 113309, job number 70654, is the Brunswick Rec Ground fencing. I'm in charge of a committee of a organisation that shares a common boundary with that fence, and as I say, those are impartiality, I'll stay in chambers on vote on those merits. Item 12.3.1, proposed amendment 124. I have a financial interest in that. My employer owns land adjacent to that land, so I'll step out of chambers for that.
Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have sent through the numbers, but it's the Leisure Not Leisure Centre as on council representative, and also the Disability Access and Inclusion Committee.
Councillor Dickinson.
And I'm a committee member of the Brunswick Men's Shed. 5.1.6, delegation. Item 12.4.3 of the budget adoption, account number 132102, 132104, 132132. I'm council delegate for the Harvey Visitor Centre Committee. Item 12.4.3, the budget adoption, account number 116176. I'm the council delegate on the Yarlow Workshop Committee. And item 12.4.3, account number 132102, the budget adoption. I'm the council rep for the Harvey District Historical Society. Thank you.
Councillor Birch.
Mr. President, item 12.1.5, lease agreement Harvey Community Radio. I'm the council delegate on the Harvey Community Radio Committee. Impartiality interest in that and stay in the chambers and vote on its merits. Item 12.3.3, application for use lot not listed, D&L Hanks. As the chair of St John's Ambulance Sub-Centre, I negotiated the sale of that unit with him on that matter. And item 12.4.3, consideration of the 2020-21 draft budget. I'm a council delegate on the following committees that are receiving financial assistance from council: Harvey Community Radio Station, Harvey Community Resource Centre, Community Cell Training Trust, Brunswick River Cottages, Harvey Recreation and Cultural Centre, and the late item or addition to the budget, job FP0573, Whistler Way. It's a footpath. I live on Whistler Way. Interest in that, and stay in chambers and vote accordingly.
Thank you. Councillor Drummond.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have impartial interest in 12.1.4 of the agenda, National Progress Association, lease for Settlers Hall. I'm a delegate there, and I'll stay in the chamber and vote accordingly. Also in the budget, 12.4.3, I'm on the board of Lot 208, and the account numbers are 84107841108, and also still on 12.4.3, Settlers Hall, account number 111043.
Councillor Campbell.
Thanks, Mr. President. On the agenda items today, item 12.1.4, Settlers Hall Community, so I will stay in the chambers. That's an impartiality. Also, item 12.1.5, the lease agreement with Harvey Community Radio. I'm the council deputy delegate and will remain in the chambers. Item 12.1.8, so I will remain in the chambers for that one as well. 12.4.3, the budget adoption. All of these are impartiality interests, and I will remain in the chamber. Account number 71106 and 83102, that's Riverlinks Childcare Centre. I'm the council delegate. Account number 84107 and 84108, that's Lot 208 Youth. I'm the council delegate and also the chairperson of the board. Account number 82202, that's Morrissey Homestead. I'm the council delegate. Account number 111107 and 111305, Settlers Hall Management Committee. Account number 105151, Harvey Community Resource Centre. And account number 105152, Harvey Community Radio Committee.
2020 70177, 70622 and 70350. I'm council rep on the Binningup Community Association. Also an impartiality interest in 12.4.3 2021 budget adoption, jobs 117101 to 11704, as I'm council rep on Harvey Rec and Cultural Centre, and I will stay in the chambers and deal with these on their merits. And I have a impartiality interest in item 12.4.3, job 70352. I'm a member of the Brunswick Ag Society, and I'll deal with this on its merit and stay in the chambers for the duration. Okay, no more? Okay, thank you. Item 6, response to previous questions taken on notice. Ms. Neil. Item 7, public question time. Any questions? Neil? Item 8, petitions, deputations and presentations. Ms. Neil? Item 9, announcements by presiding member or CEO without discussion. Ms. Neil? Item 10, confirmation of minutes. The ordinary council meeting Tuesday 23rd of June 2020. Councillor Boylan, Councillor Campbell. Any questions, any queries? Put motions, anyone against the motion? The motion is carried. And minutes of the special council meeting of Tuesday 7th of July 2020. Councillor Adams. Second, Councillor Coleman. Put the motion, anyone against the motion? The motion is carried. Okay, item 11. Receipt of minutes and recommendations of committees. Have a recommendation that Council takes the agenda out of order to consider the Chief Executive Officer Employment Committee minutes at section 19, matters behind closed doors, in accordance with section 5.232A of the Local Government Act 1995, as a matter affecting an employee or employees. So you have one, Councillor Burgoyne, Councillor Dickinson. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Okay, officers' reports. Item 12. Chief Executive Officer. 12.1.1. West Australian Local Government Association 2020 AGM voting delegates. Recommendation on page 7. Councillor Beach.
Yeah, could I nominate Councillor Coleman, please?
Councillor Coleman.
Yep.
Have another nomination. Councillor Bromley.
Yeah, I'll nominate the President.
Yeah, I'm already on.
You're already on it, well. Okay. That would be good.
Just as part of this recommendation, we're just looking for 2 proxies if the President and Deputy President are unable to attend the Wagga AGM. So if we could have another nomination.
Councillor Beach.
Can I withdraw my nomination there? No, I was on the wrong page. I'm thinking of the Harvey Main Street Committee. I will pay the due fine when it arrives. I'll withdraw that. I'm so sorry.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
So Councillor Coleman, are you still happy
Yeah.
to be?
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't mind nominating
Proxy.
Councillor Coleman for that, but it wasn't the
Councillor
one.
Dickinson.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, has anyone got a burning desire to be a proxy and challenge? Okay, so we have a mover, Councillor Burgoyne, second to Councillor Lovett. We'll put the motion. If anyone gets the motion, the motion is carried. Okay, 12.1.2, Harvey Main Street Committee Delegation. Councillor Beach, would you like to put forward a nomination?
can't recall what it was now. Yes, I did speak to Councillor Coleman earlier about this, and I'd like to nominate Councillor Coleman for the Main Street Committee. Thank you.
Given that you were nominated before, are you happy to accept this one, Councillor?
This is the one I was expecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so happy to move that, Councillor Beach.
I am so, yes.
Seconder, Councillor Campbell. So I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? The motion is carried. Item 12.1.3, cat at delegation. Recommendation on page 12 and 13, with the absolute majority voting. Move Councillor Lovett, second Councillor Dickinson. Is there any questions, any queries? Okay, I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. 12.1.4, Settlers Hall Community Centre lease renewal.
Councillors, just so that you're aware, the clause that was part of the recommendation in regards to co-opting onto the subcommittee at least 2 Austrian ward councillors for the Shire of Harvey as members has been deleted from the recommendation, and there is an additional report in the agenda to appoint people directly to that committee.
Councillor Dickinson, move. Councillor Bromham, second. Any questions, any discussion? I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item number 12.1.5, lease agreement, Harvey Community Radio. Officer recommendation on page 17. Councillor Coleman, move. Second to Councillor Burgoyne. Any questions? I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.1.6, delegations register review. So voting requirement, absolute majority, so page 23 and 24 of the recommendation. Councillor Bromham, move. Second to Councillor Simpson. Is there any discussion, questions? I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Item 12.1.7, public statements by councillors and the Chief Executive Officer policy. Recommendation, page 27. Move Councillor Burgoyne, second Councillor Bromham. Questions? Put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? The motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Item 12.1.8, Leschenol Progress Association delegates. Officer recommendation on page 25. Councillor Bromham.
I was going to say, I'm going to nominate, but you've already got it. Nominate Councillor Campbell.
Okay. Accept that, Councillor Campbell, yep. Is there any other nominations?
And I'll nominate Councillor Bromham as the deputy. Thank you.
Okay. You're happy to move that, Councillor Bromham, second Councillor Campbell? I will put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. 12, technical services. 12.2.1, Harvey Milat Road, rationalisation of gazetted road corridor boundaries. Recommendation on page 32, Councillor Lovett, Councillor Dickinson. Any questions, any queries? Put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.2.2, application for exemption to keep more than the prescribed number of dogs. Recommendation on page 35. Councillor Simpson, moving. Seconder. Councillor Burgoyne. Any questions, any queries? Put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.2.3, application for exemption to keep more than the prescribed number of dogs. Again, officer recommendation, page 38. Move councillor Simpson, second councillor Braun. I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12, development services. Item 12.3.1, proposed amendment number 124, additional use 16 to district planning scheme number 1. Move councillor Jackson, second councillor Bromham. Yep. Are there any questions, any queries? Any additional? Are all happy? I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Just move councillor Jackson, second councillor Bromham, and moved 12 mil. Councillor Birdwood. Development services, item number 12.3.2, community open space, bidding up transfer of land. We have officer recommendation on page 48. Councillor Coleman moving. Second, Councillor Simpson. Any queries, any questions? I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? The motion is carried. Item 12.3.3, application for a use not listed, rural workers accommodation. Okay, so officer recommendation number 1 requires an absolute majority. Councillor Bromham moved, Councillor Jackson second. I'll put the motion. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Officer's recommendation 2 of 2. A simple majority. Councillor Jackson moved. Second, Councillor Bromham. Put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.3.4, mosquito-borne disease control 2019-2020. This has been pretty quiet. You didn't want to add anything at all?
Through you, I'm going to say Madam President, Mr. President, just to inform Council that we actually undertook our first aerial treatment this morning. I did surveys on Friday, and in response to the isolation of Ross River virus from mosquitoes that were trapped at the end of the estuary, we started today. We treated approximately 39 hectares, started at 8:30 and finished at about 12:15.
Councillor Bromham.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had one question. Possible mosquito resistance. I just wondered, is that becoming an issue?
Through you, Mr. President. That's actually an easy question for a change. Yeah, what we do is we stock rotate. The chemicals we use today, we've only used once before, and in the next coming treatment, it will be a different chemical again. So what happens, the chemical we use today is two-component, and one of the components kills the insects, the larvae, within probably about 4 to 6 hours. That's the younger larvae, and the older ones are then held with another chemical. So it's a composite control, and then the next control will be different again, but there are also other products on the market, but we stock rotate. It's also a reason why we give a break over winter too, so that the generations of mosquitoes come through aren't exposed to any chemicals that we do, control chemicals that we do use. Probably the only other thing I can add is our CEO was at the helicopter this morning, getting hair blown around with a downdraft and keeping out of the rain.
Thank you.
Okay. Moved Councillor Coleman, second Councillor Adams. I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? The motion is carried. Item 12.3.5, trading in public places for food vendors. Question? Yes.
Have we alerted the adjacent properties to this in regard to this particular item?
Through you, Mr. President, no, not on this application, but as council will recall, there's a substantial, I suppose, advertising campaign you'd call it, or informing the public, and people along that strip in particular were given direct letters. So they have been informed, but it was when the policy was being developed, but not in response to this direct application.
Thank you.
Councillor Bromman.
Just a quick question. Obviously there's a conflict between boat owners, people using the playground, food providers and the general public using this area. I just wondered what our plan was going forward to ensure we have enough parking for all these things to occur in this area.
Through you, Mr. President, luckily parking's not my concern. But yeah, that was some of the issues that were discussed with the development of the policy. We've had one complaint so far, and was probably warranted, but the response from the food vendor wasn't particularly friendly either. But yeah, there will be conflicts there, but with the future development, maybe Rick, Mr. Lotsnicker may wish to comment on that.
Yeah, look, just through the chair, this one's obviously at the northern end, and you know, mainly used by the windsurfers and whatnot. But as part of the cafe restaurant proposal moving forward, we're definitely going to be looking at the parking there, because just with the playground opening, it's pretty full. So yeah, we need to look at some innovative solutions there and increase the parking. So we'll be looking at that.
Thank you.
Move Councillor Bromman. Second Councillor Dickinson. No more questions. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Okay, item 12.3.6, proposed moratorium on amendments to the local planning strategy and district planning scheme. There is additional information. Okay.
This was an additional report which wasn't presented at the agenda briefing and the Director of Sustainable Development Plan, but that report would be coming to Council. Did you want to add any information?
I have to give a quick brief, are we standing?
Yes.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Look, as indicated at the briefing last week, because the Shire officers are in the process of preparing the new town planning scheme, it's appropriate that we can do so without getting caught up with proposed amendments to our current one, and we are having to amend our local planning strategy based on some sub-regional issues through the Department of Planning. So it's appropriate for us to do the moratorium for 12 months to allow us to get this work done unfettered with minor changes to our current planning framework.
Any questions? Move Councillor Coleman. Second Councillor Simpson. Well, put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? The motion is carried. Corporate services, item 12.4.1, listing of accounts paid May 2020. Councillor Dickinson moving.
Yeah.
Second, Councillor Campbell. Any questions, any queries? Put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.4.2, financial statements as at 31st of May 2020. Councillor Lovett, Councillor Dickinson. Any questions, any queries? Put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.4.3, it's 2020-2021 budget adoption. We'll have Mr. Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to make one change on page 79 if I can. Right up the top of that page, specified area rate for Treendale District Centre. That should actually read 0.89844. We dropped the 4 off the end. So it does make a lot of difference, however it really needs to be correct. So if I can just make that alteration. And also, from last week, we've also included an additional item, which is number 6, materiality. That is something that council is required to adopt annually, and so we've included that 20,000 in as a material amount for council to consider. That's as council has previously adopted in all other years as well. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or queries? Okay, so Councillor Brom, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. President, I noticed in the agenda briefing notes that there was a 5% surcharge placed on people who didn't pay their rate straight away, and I just wanted a bit of an explanation of exactly how that works, so we weren't, sort of hitting the most vulnerable with costs they couldn't afford.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So normally we would charge 11% as, local government can charge 11% as an interest rate for amounts that haven't been paid past the due date. This council previously has elected to charge 10%. The Department of Local Government has allowed us to reduce, or encouraged us to reduce that amount, and so we have elected to reduce that down to 5% rather than it being 10%. So that's really what that is.
Thanks very much.
Councillor Beach.
Yeah, just a point of clarification, if I may. A lot of news about the zero rate increases across councils throughout Western Australia, but there's actually been a rise in people receiving their rates. I just wanted absolutely crystal clear that when my rate notice arrives in the mail this year, I can get my last year's one out, and apart from the dates changing, they're going to look the same.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the rate in the dollar for all rates that have been imposed this year are the same as last year. Where someone may get an increase in their rates is if previously they had a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, but through the course of the year they now have a 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. The valuer general will typically pick up those additions, and we will have that new valuation come through. The rate in the dollar will remain the same, but the value of their house, the rental value, has gone up, so they will actually have an increase. But if your house has remained the same, no additions, you haven't put a pool in, then your rate will be the same. The UV properties, we have the same rate in the dollar. However, every year we do have a revaluation of the UV, the unimproved value properties, the farming lots. The change in valuation, I think, was under 1%. So farmers may have a minor increase or a minor reduction. I think you would find that they would all be the same.
Thank you.
Lucky that footpath is going in next year, Councillor Beach.
Sorry?
Lucky that footpath is going in next year. Okay, so no other questions or queries. So we'll have Officer Recommendation 1. Move Councillor Coleman, second Councillor Dickinson. Okay. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? The motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Item 2, Officer Recommendation 2 of 6. Move Councillor Lovett, second Councillor Coleman. Put the motion. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Item 3, adoption of draft budget 2021. Officer Recommendation 3 of 6.
Can I
Councillor
be
Jackson?
excused from the chamber for those 4 items on page 177?
Yep.
Those are
So
held
that's-
financial interest.
So has everyone got on their screen? So Officer Recommendation 3A.
Yeah, this is with the budget without those items? Or the
Yes,
other
the
way around?
first part of the recommendation
Yeah.
is without your
Three.
items
Yeah.
where you put a financial interest, and the second part of
Second
the
part
item.
is, so,
So,
so 3A of 6, Councillor Bromham, Councillor Jackson second. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Officer Recommendation 3B. Wait for it. Councillor Burgoyne moved. Councillor Bromham second. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? The motion is carried 11-0, absolute majority. Officer Recommendation 4 of 6, noting that, as Mr Winter explained, that the specified area rate be amended to 0.89844. Move Councillor Burgoyne, Councillor Campbell second. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Officer Recommendation 5. Councillor Jackson moved. Second, Councillor Bromham. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried 12-0, absolute majority. Officer Recommendation 6 of 6. Councillor Coleman moving. Councillor Lovett second. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Community Development. Item number 12.5.1, Community Sporting and Recreation Facilities Fund, small grant applications. Any questions at all of Mr Quinlivan? Any explanation? Move Councillor Coleman, second Councillor Burgoyne. Put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.5.2, Management Agreement, Harvey Community Play and Learning Centre Incorporated. Recommendation on page 84. Councillor Bromham, move. Second, Councillor Boylan. Any questions, any queries? Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.5.3, Variation to COVID-19 Response Grant Program. recommendation on page 87. Councillor Burgoyne moving. Councillor Boylan second. Any questions, any queries? Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.5.4, Noongar Community Group request to use the Harvey RSL Hall. Recommendation on page 89. Councillor Bromham, Councillor Adams second. Any questions, any queries? Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.5.5, Leschnault Men's Shed request to extend the lease area. Recommendation on page 92. Councillor Lovett. Councillor Bromham second. Any questions, any queries? Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12.5.6, Advisory Group Membership. Recommendation on page 95. Councillor Bromham, question?
Just some information, Mr. President. I've contacted some community members because I thought it would be good to get someone from the northern end of the Shire, and Helen Alexander from Yarloop and Mr. Greg Campbell from Australia are both interested in being on this committee as well. But I think that can be dealt through a delegation from the CEO.
Yes, no delegation required. The policy states that the CEO can appoint members to that committee, so we'll approach those community members and hopefully get them on board. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Mover, Councillor Bromham, second Councillor Dickinson. Put the motions. Anyone against the motion? The motion is carried. Item 12.5.7, Leschnault Leisure Centre, Grow, Cook, Eat, Create. Recommendation is on page 98. Question, Councillor Bromham?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just wondered, is this a not-for-profit organisation or a business?
Mr. Quinn-Livin.
Thank you, Councillor. They are a not-for-profit organisation incorporated under the Associations and Corporations Act.
Thank you.
Move Councillor Lovett, second Councillor Dickinson. No more discussion, any questions? Put motions. Anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Okay, item 13, elected members' motions of which previous notice has been given is nil. Item 14, notice of motion for following meeting. Nil. Item 15, questions by members of which due notice has been given. Nil. Item 16, reports of members in the tin can. Councillor Beach?
Yeah, if I may, could I just refer to one particular meeting? I know they've all been sent through and will be in the minutes, but I just wanted to bring the council's attention to the Harvey Recreation and Cultural Centre. On the 22nd of July, just gone, we had a meeting there, and I can report that the incorporated body was wound up by special resolution, and then following that they adopted the terms of reference without any amendment, and that Craig Morn was elected the chair to continue the good work he's been doing and to finalise the project that's over there. They also made mention of the fact that had it not been for the Shire of Harvey kicking in 400 and something odd thousand of the word go to get that new extension, if you like. His name is the internal name is the boundary. It's not renaming the building, but that's what you want to call it, the boundary. I'll meet you on the boundary. That it more than likely would never have got up because someone needs to tip the toe in the water to wink first, I guess, to get the thing rolling. And without that initial support and response from the council, then it wouldn't have got up. And they thank the council and the staff and everybody else involved very much for that support. So it's all over now, that everything's been signed and sealed. Hopefully it's been sent over to you, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to bring your attention to that. Thank you.
Councillor Adams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Last Tuesday evening I received a small gift and a birthday card acknowledging my birthday from councillors and staff, and I wish to say thank you very much. I very much appreciated that. I don't always deserve those sorts of things perhaps, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome, Councillor Adams. There was a cake, as I did explain, but
you did eat it.
As you did in front, that sort of went missing. So
I had a very good reason, and I'll tell you why.
Is there any others who wish to give a report on any committees? Okay. Item 17, seal register. Nil. Item 18, new business of an urgent nature introduced by decision at meeting. Yep. Okay. Item 19, matters behind closed doors. We have moved Councillor Burgoyne, the second of Councillor Dickinson. Councillor moved behind closed doors. I'll put the motion. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Okay.
CPR's changed.
Thank you, everyone. Can I just, Patrick's obviously left, so Freddo Frog actually beat him. He's 90, so I did sort of take a bit of notice that we've got a Freddo Frog from someone, but planning services bring a bag of chilies, so I don't know what's going on at the moment. It's, thank you, everyone, and as there is no more further business to discuss and everyone is probably a little bit thirsty, I will close the meeting at 5:55. Thank everyone for their attendance.
CPR.